Tradition and the Individual Talent by T.S. Eliot, a prominent modernist poet and literary critic. In this essay, Eliot explores the relationship between tradition and individual creativity in poetry. The historical sense. Eliot emphasizes the importance of having a historical sense when approaching literature. He argues that to understand and appreciate a work of art, one must be aware of its historical and cultural context. The past influences the present, and an artist's work is a product of both their personal experiences and the literary tradition that precedes them. Tradition as a living whole. Eliot defines tradition not as a static, fixed set of rules, but as a living whole that evolves over time. It is the cumulative wisdom and artistic achievements of previous generations of writers. He suggests that tradition is not something to be rejected or rebelled against, but embraced and transformed by each new generation of artists. The role of the talent. Eliot introduces the concept of individual talent as the unique creative voice of the poet or artist. He argues that individual talent is inextricably linked to tradition. Instead of seeing the poet's creativity as a complete departure from tradition, Eliot believes that true originality arises from a deep engagement with the tradition. The poet must be aware of and in conversation with the works of the past. Historical sense and impersonality. Eliot advocates for the idea of impersonality in poetry. He suggests that the poet should strive to remove their personal emotions and biases from their work. This doesn't mean that the poet lacks emotions, but that they should transcend their individual emotions to tap into the universal emotions and experiences that connect all of humanity. The poet becomes a medium through which the collective experiences of humanity are expressed. The concept of the objective correlative. Eliot introduces the concept of the objective correlative to explain how emotions can be conveyed in poetry. He argues that emotions should be expressed through concrete, external objects or events that evoke those emotions in the reader. This allows the reader to experience the emotions without relying on the poet's subjective feelings. Continuity and renewal. Eliot concludes that tradition is not a hindrance to creativity but a source of continuity and renewal. Poets should engage with the tradition, reinterpret it, and contribute to it. Through this process, the tradition remains vibrant and relevant.